You're every rank of a cryo-surgeon on a generation ship heading nowhere, 2487. The first thing you notice is the cold. Not the cold of winter. Not the cold of an open window at 3 a.m. This is the cold of engineered silence, the kind that lives inside metal walls, recycled air, and the hum of 847 cryopods keeping 847 people technically alive. You are somewhere between Jupiter and the dark. The ship has no name anymore. The crew stopped using it in 2471, when the navigation array failed and nobody fixed it. Now everyone just calls it the vessel. Like it's the only one. Like there's nothing else. You press your palm against pod 412. The frost bites your skin instantly. Inside, a woman sleeps. She's been sleeping for 11 years. Her chest rises every 40 seconds. Her brain activity is a flat blue line on your screen. Not dead, not alive. Just suspended. You are the reason she's still breathing. You are also the reason 3 others aren't. Nobody told you it would feel like this. Nobody told you that saving lives at this altitude, for 0.2 billion kilometers from the nearest hospital, the nearest second opinion, the nearest anyone, would feel less like medicine and more like playing God with frozen hands. But here you are. This is your life. Every rank of it. Level 1. COAO Technician Assistant. The nobody. You are 23 years old and you smell like disinfectant and instant protein paste. Your quarters are 2.1 meters wide. You know this because you measured it with your arm span on your first night, lying awake, realizing the ceiling was close enough to touch. You touch it every night now. Not for comfort. Just to confirm it's real. Your job at level 1 is not surgery. Your job is maintenance. You check seals. You wipe frost off readout screens. You log temperatures every 6 hours, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 p.m., midnight, into a system that nobody reads unless something goes wrong. Nobody told you to care about the faces inside the pods. But you do. Pod 209 has a boy who looks about 12. Pod 541 has an old man with a scar across his chin shaped like a crescent moon. You give them names in your head. You know it's unprofessional. You do it anyway. You are furniture to the senior staff. Dr. Vasquez walks past you 17 times a day without making eye contact. You counted. The other assistants haze you with double shifts and missing meal credits. You eat cold paste at 2 a.m. standing over utility sink, staring at the wall, calculating how many years until you're anything else. The answer, at level 1, is too many. Level 2, CRYO Technician. Still nobody, but now you know it. 2 years pass. You learn things they don't teach in the certification modules. You learn that the recycled air tastes different near the medical bay, thinner, with a chemical sweetness underneath it, like synthetic oranges and something burning slowly. You learn to hold your breath when the ventilation cycles. You learn that 3 pods in section C run 0.3 degrees warmer than they should, and that every senior technician knows, and nobody has fixed it, and you are not yet allowed to ask why. You get your technician badge. It means you now calibrate the cooling systems instead of just wiping them. The pay increase is 11 credits per cycle. You spend 9 of them on joint supplements because your fingers ache constantly from the cold. Your hands have started to shake in the morning. Not from fear. From temperature exposure. You wrap them in thermal cloth before your shift. The senior techs notice and say nothing. This is how you know it's normal. The ship does not care about your hands. You start reading surgical manuals at night. Not because anyone told you to. Because you can feel the ceiling getting closer. Level 3, Junior Cryo-Medic. The first cut. The first time you make an incision, your hands don't shake. This surprises you. You thought they would. You thought the weight of a scalpel on living, technically living, tissue would feel enormous. It feels precise. Clean. Like the most honest thing you've done in 3 years. The procedure is routine, a failing cardiac support node in pod 388. The patient's name in the manifest is Elena Vasquez. No relation to the doctor, you checked. She is 41 years old. She went under in 2479 believing she'd wake up on New Meridian. Nobody has told the sleeping passengers yet that New Meridian's last transmission was in 2483, and it was a distress signal, and then silence. You don't think about that. You think about the node. You replace it in 47 minutes. Dr. Vasquez, the real one, watches without speaking. When you finish, he makes a single note on her tablet. He leaves. You find out later the note said, "Acceptable." You tape that word to the inside of your locker. You are furious and grateful at the same time. This is level 3. This is what progress tastes like on a ship heading nowhere. It tastes like being acceptable to someone who will never learn your name. Level 4. Cryo-Medic. The price of knowing. You know too much now to be comfortable. You know the mortality statistics. You know that 2.3% of long-term cryo patients develop cascading cellular failure after year 12. You know the vessel is in year 16. You run the math at night and the math is not kind. But level 4 comes with a private bunk. A real one, 4 meters wide. You run your arm across it the first night and feel something dangerously close to relief. You hate yourself for it. You drink your ration of synthetic coffee and you study. Your hands no longer shake at all. This is either expertise or damage. You haven't decided which. You lose your first patient. Pod 712. The Crescent Moon Scar Man. His cellular degradation was too advanced and you caught it 72 hours too late. You stand in the decontamination corridor afterward and the cold feels different. Personal. Nobody holds a service. There is no protocol for mourning the cryo dead. They were already halfway gone. This is what they tell you. You nod. You go back to work. You add his face to the list you keep in your head, the ones you carry. The list is how you know you're still human. Level 5. Senior Cryo-Medic. Blood debt. Dr. Vasquez dies in 2485. Not dramatically. Not heroically. Her heart simply stops during a routine diagnostic, and by the time the alert sounds, it's been 4 minutes, and 4 minutes on the vessel is 4 minutes. There is no crash team coming down a corridor. There is only you, and the defibrillator, and the look on her face when you bring her back. She doesn't thank you. But 3 days later, you have her access codes and her caseload and a new title on the ship's manifest. Senior Cryo-Medic. You now supervise 2 level 2 technicians. You walk past them. You make eye contact. You remember the 17 times. You make yourself stop and learn their names. The weight of 847 sleeping lives is no longer abstract. It lives in your shoulders. You feel it when you wake up. You feel it when you eat. The recycled air still smells like synthetic oranges and slow burning, but now the smell is yours. It belongs to you the way a scar belongs to you. You start sleeping with surgical notes on your chest. You wake up with ink on your collarbone. This is what devotion looks like at level 5. It is not beautiful. It is not meant to be. Level 6. Chief Medical Officer, Interim. The first taste of the cage. The word interim lasts 4 months. Then the ship's council removes it quietly, the way they remove all uncomfortable things on the vessel, without announcement, without ceremony. You are now Chief Medical Officer. You have a title, a larger terminal, and access to information that reframes everything you thought you understood. The Section C pods, the ones running 0.3 degrees warm, have been that way since 2474. The repair parts were redirected to the navigation array. The navigation array that failed anyway. 61 people are at elevated cellular risk because of a decision made before you arrived, by people who are now either sleeping in those same pods or already dead. You fix Section C. It takes you 9 days of unauthorized rerouting. The council sends you a formal notice of reprimand. You frame it and put it next to the word acceptable. Power at level 6 feels like carrying a larger weight in the same 2 hands. Your hands, which no longer shake. Your hands, which have now restarted 4 hearts, rebuilt 2 collapsed airways, and failed to save 11 people whose names you still carry. The council begins inviting you to briefings. You sit at the table. You are the only one at the table who smells like the cold. Level 7. Chief Cryo-Surgeon. The Golden Cage. You can now approve or deny revival. Read that again. You can look at a manifest, see a name, run a projection, and decide whether waking that person now will compromise the survival of the larger population. You have the medical authority. The council gave it to you wrapped in formal language and resource allocation charts. What they actually gave you is the power to determine who gets to be conscious on a ship heading nowhere. You use it carefully. You use it like a scalpel, only when necessary, only with clean hands. But you use it. And the first time you file a revival denied recommendation, you sit alone in your 4-meter bunk and you press your palm flat against the metal wall and you feel the cold move through you like a current. You have everything now. The best rations. The undivided attention of every person on this ship. A legacy being written in survival statistics. You cannot remember the last time you laughed. Actually laughed. Not the polite exhale you do in briefings. Real laughter. The cage is warm. The cage is yours. The door is welded shut from the inside. Level 8. The last surgeon. When there is no one left above you. By 2487, you are the only trained cryo-surgeon on the vessel. The backup died in 2486, cellular failure, slow and cruel and ironic. You trained a replacement who is still 2 years from competency. Until then, it is only you. 847 lives. 1 pair of hands. No ceiling above your head anymore. No floor below the cold. The council asks you once, only once, if you're afraid. You tell them the ship's current cellular failure rate, the projected revival window, and the recommended triage protocol if 2 critical pods fail simultaneously. They don't ask again. At night, you press your palm to pod 412. The woman who has been sleeping for 11 years. Her chest rises every 40 seconds. Her blue line is steady. You have kept her alive longer than the original specs predicted. You don't know where the ship is going. You don't know if New Meridian exists anymore. You don't know if any of this ends in anything other than the dark. But her chest rises. And that is enough. It has to be. The reckoning. Here is what nobody tells you about being the most important person in a closed system. Importance is not the same as safety. Your hands will fail before the ship does. Your eyes are already struggling in the cryo bay light. Your joints ache in a way the supplements no longer touch. You are aging in recycled air, under artificial light, 4.2 billion kilometers from the nearest sun. You will train your replacement. You will hand over your access codes, your case files, the names you carry in your head. You will walk them through Section C and explain the 0.3 degrees and why it matters. You will try to give them everything you had to learn the hard way. And then you will do something you have not done in years. You will go to your bunk. You will lie down. You will measure the room with your arm span. You will touch the ceiling. And somewhere in the dark between Jupiter and nothing, you will finally understand. The ship was never heading nowhere. It was heading here. To this moment. To you becoming exactly what 847 sleeping people needed, whether you wanted to be it or not. Power doesn't corrupt the willing. It just reveals the cost. And the cost, always, is everything that made you soft.